Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning into the financial update for April 2024 with Mark Winter from the Loan Market. Thanks for your time today, Mark. And just
Oh, no,
wondering
so
about
thanks for the invite, Lee.
yeah, nice to have you on there, Mark. And
Yeah,
just
awesome.
I just thought we'd just start this off with the latest interest rate decision happened a few weeks ago in late March there.
Yep.
And what was your
Yeah, well, we've been lucky, mate, with it. It's hasn't moved, thank goodness.
right?
So, which is great news. And you'll start to see, as I mentioned in the last one, a bit of a difference with the meetings won't be as every month anymore.
Okay.
But that's not such a bad thing because we're starting to see some stability back in the market. So, but we're all hoping and praying with fingers crossed that we're looking at hopefully some reductions at the end of this year, if not early next year, depending on if the market continues the way it's going.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's subject to all the economic reports, etc., like that.
Yeah, and also, worldly outcomes as well, depending on what happens around the world as well. So, we can never underestimate some of the catastrophes and things that have jeopardized fuel crises and things like that. So you just don't know. But if everything continues as it is at the moment, then we're anticipating something, hopefully some reductions later this year, early next year.
That's understandable, Mark. Yeah, a lot of factors to consider
Mm.
for that one. And
Mm.
I thought, while I've got you today, I thought I'd just go into a topic. Maybe a lot of people aren't aware about this one about security swap mortgage. And I'm just wondering if it's
Yep.
beneficial in this market. What's your take on that?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of people that are considering either downsizing or even upsizing in the market. Some homes are a little bit more attractive now, but we are seeing a fair few downsizing as well because they're selling the bigger acreage blocks, and let's say it's a little bit harder to manage for them. Or we've seen some change of minds through COVID epidemic that things haven't warranted what they thought they were going to be, and are looking at something a little bit smaller to be easier to manage. So. The security swap is quite prevalent, whereas as long as your mortgage amount doesn't change, so if your property price so let's say the actual property value increases, that's okay. As long as your value of your mortgage doesn't change, you can actually substitute the security. So you can move from your property A that you're existing in, and you've decided to move to property B. If that loan amount doesn't change, you can happily take one off and slide one straight in, and there's no change to your mortgage.
For the people
I
that
want to
don't,
preface that by if you're fixed, just to interrupt, mate. Just if you're fixed though, that may be a little bit more difficult, and you may have to break your fixed rate, especially those who are on the really cheap fixed rates. Yeah. So, but if it's variable, then no trouble at all.
that's excellent, Mark. I was going to say, just for the people that don't understand the security swap mortgage, what is it exactly, just in a nutshell, please, Mark?
Yeah, so it's very much just your standard mortgage that you have at the moment. So if it's a variable rate, it has your standard repayments that you're probably already paying. And all it is you're not having to reapply for a whole new mortgage. You're not having to go through the whole process again. So we've noticed that some people have circumstances changes. They've moved positions, changed jobs, even given up work, having children, or whatever the family dynamic has changed. The good thing is there's no actual application. It's purely just a one form to say that you're changing from address A to address B, and one slides in, one slides out on the day. There may be some slight incidentals for rates adjustments and things like that might be applicable. But hopefully across the board, it should be quite easy, and you should be able to get through unscathed for around $1,000.
So that's a lot cheaper than going into a mortgage, then, isn't it? As well, yeah.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it's certainly going through that whole process again and potentially looking at a new lender, and you're looking at transfer duties and mortgage registrations and things like that. It can be quite expensive. So, and then if in the case that you've increased the loan, you may not be able to afford it. So it's certainly something that you don't want to be getting yourself into something that you can't afford, and potentially your heart is set on that property by then, and you're saying, look, oh, we really want this new home, that's great,
True,
but
yeah.
it might be a little bit out of your reach. So this might be something that might be a bit more advantageous to say, look, yep, we can manage and we can swap, and it should be no dramas at all.
Well, that's perfect, Mark. Thanks for pointing it out. There's some people out there, some of my friends, they weren't exactly up to speed with the security swap mortgage. They didn't exactly know. So it's nice
Mhm.
to get your input so we can
Mhm.
educate people out there on the market. I was
Yeah,
just,
no trouble, no trouble.
thanks so much, Mark. And was there any other news financial wise that's happening that we should be aware of out there in the marketplace at the moment?
But probably a big one at the moment, we're finding that some people are actually going into the market signing an unconditional contract. That's dangerous. I want to err on the side of cautiousness, especially when you're signing a contract, to understand the terms and conditions. And mate, I know yourself, you would go through that with a client, and with reminding the client that there's the 5 day cooling off period and the finance and the pest and building. Well, unfortunately, we had a client this only in the last 2 weeks that has signed an unconditional contract, not understanding those conditions, and had to basically, she'd already paid an $18,500 deposit and potentially was at risk of losing that whole thing if she hadn't been able to get a mortgage. She had been to another broker and been declined by a major lender.
Right.
Um, so yeah, then she came to me through a third party that referred her on. We managed to get it done in just over a week and a half. Actually, funnily enough, and again, preface that I'm not going to talk ill of the other broker, but we ended up going back to the exact same lender and getting it approved.
Right.
So it's all about how you position it and how you put it forward to a specific lender, to making sure that everything's disclosed. There's no bells and whistles. I mean, she was a single mum with a little one, so we really wanted to make sure that we could put her into a property. And when we told her that it was unconditionally approved, it's one of those ones I remember for a long, long time where she cried on the phone, and
Yeah.
just she then realised the magnitude of what she'd put herself into, that she could have potentially lost her whole life, say, the whole $18,500, which is all her savings, that she was putting towards a deposit. Yeah, I just want to remind people that don't go into, like that's with auction properties and things like that, to understand the terms and conditions before they stick their hand up or before they put their name and sign away there, and on a contract, that they understand those conditions. So it was a real timely reminder for us to make sure that we do due diligence as well with the client, but also that friendly reminder for anyone out there that's looking to purchase a property as well, to understand those conditions.
We're definitely dealing with people's lives, aren't we, Mark? And that's something.
Mm,
How could I just don't understand, because that's normally part of the conditions in the contract. When you do finance, then you wait for it to become unconditional. So I'm I'm
yeah,
flabbergasted
yeah.
how
I
it could
mean,
be
but
unconditional straight away.
yeah, I mean, all that looked like it just had a line through it, and
Right.
again, I'm not sure. I'm
Wow.
not sure they, if the real estate agent, because I wasn't privy to the meeting, right? So
Yeah.
I'm speaking from just from the talking to the client, that I don't think she understood what was happening, or some of the jargon that might have been used, and it's one of those ones. The key thing that if you don't know is to ask questions and say, and hopefully the real estate agent would be saying, do you understand what you're signing? Do you understand what's going on? And more importantly, that making sure that they are fully aware, because again, had something gone pear-shaped, that could have been catastrophic, and then it could have been, I'm not sure the outcome could have been mitigated. I don't know, but thankfully enough, she's in the home and she settled yesterday, so
Oh,
it's
that's
fantastic
brilliant.
news for
That's
us.
good news.
But it's just
Yeah,
it's
that's
I get concerned when I see it, and I haven't seen it for a very long time. But it still highlights that there are some people out there that don't understand the process, and it's better to get experts like yourself, mate, and or even a conveyancer or a solicitor, just to work through it before signing it, to understand what you're signing, because the ramifications could have been, again, quite a bit of money for her. So,
that's what I was saying. On my contracts, do your due diligence first, like even before they sign the contract with me.
mm,
I'd rather them go to their solicitor for the sake of what they pay them, maybe like X amount of dollars that they pay their solicitor, and they can go, okay, this is
mm,
100% correct. I'm ready to sign it now. So I'd rather my clients do that, because we've got people's lives on our hands, for goodness sake, So
mm.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
very much
scary
so, mate.
one. So thankfully, yeah, thanks for that lady got saved, Mark. So it was pretty good work from you. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's I mean, I'm just grateful that we ended up looking after her. And again, knowing what I know, unfortunately, she went to another broker that may not have had the same experience either,
yeah,
as us in our office here, and I was able to manage to to put it together correctly, and ensuring that the lender that we went back to was the original lender, that they actually picked it up based on the information that was supplied. And again, I questioned that at the time, but she's like, "Oh, this is what happened." And so, and I'm sure enough, I know they did mention that there had been another application. So it was just a case of presenting it correctly, and that's where it comes down to experience, right? So, and as you know, mate, the same thing for you've been in the game for a long, long time. It comes down to the experience of the agent or the person in front of you, the expert hopefully knows what they're doing. So,
But it's not that one deal that you want the client, you want half a dozen deals. So it's imperative that you do everything right from the get-go because you want good feedback. And as we want our 5-star reviews, etc. So it's pretty much from that.
yeah, I mean, everyone that's funny, everyone that you do well tells 5, but everyone that you unfortunately don't help and you have a bad result tells 15.
That's
So
it.
it's 3 times the amount that you normally potentially losing. So you want to make sure that you do the right thing by the client and as much as you can. And hence, we've just got over, we're just nudging 300 5-star Google reviews in our office here.
Awesome.
So we're trying to get to the 300, which would put us as number 1 in the area. And
brilliant.
we want to make sure that we continue that way and do the best we can from not just a finance point of view, but their long-term financial needs. So it's not just, yes, there's a property right now. That's great. We'll get you to move in. But what about 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the track? Where are you going to be and what are you going to need? So, yeah.
Must be a 20-year anniversary this year coming up, Mark, is it? 2004, something you started?
20. I've just gone 21
nice.
years, just only
21st,
the beginning of April.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
so 21
Mark.
again.
21st, yeah, good one. Yeah.
I'm looking good for 21, mate. Yeah.
See, mate, yeah. We've got no grey hair. Yeah. I was going to say.
Well, I do. Just you can't really see it. There you go. A little bit. not like you, mate. You're all white, all grey at the moment.
Shiny silver. That's all right, mate. Yeah.
That's a silverback. That's all right.
Yeah. So for people to get in touch with you, obviously you can do the Zoom meetings. You can reach anybody all over Australia. So you obviously got to your clients to do fly in, fly outs and everything, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the best way obviously is mobile. That's the best way to initially get contact with me. Let's have a chat and see where you're sitting, and and let's get some nuts and bolts down, and then we can work through. Okay, getting some more information. Let's have a real then sit down a conversation about where you are financially, because some people aren't ready. They think they are, and they're not in a position. Their expectations are certainly sometimes a little bit higher than reality, and we need to work through that. And okay, well, if that's not your reality right now and your expectation is there, or how do we get there? What do we need to do? What changes do we need to make? So it's all about sitting down there and going through that whole conversation and making sure. And it's okay to say no right now, but again, it's not right now. It's not no, it's never going to happen. It's just no, not right now. It's something we can plan 3, 6, 12 months down the track. So it's correct.
No, I think does that cover pretty much everything for today, Mark? Was there anything?
I think we're good. Good at the moment. Yeah, good at the moment. We've actually, one thing I did want to highlight, we've just been nominated again in the Mortgage and Finance Association Awards for 2024 in the Community Champion Award, which is we love our community and we worked hard with them, and we strive to do the best we can for our community. And we're nominated into the final in the Queensland Awards. So it's always a good feather in our cap. We've been nominated along for many years, but back in 2016, when they first brought out the award, we won the Queensland and the National Award. We won it a couple of times since then, but it's our favourite one. We don't go after the best broker or anything like that, because for us, it's more about helping those in our community and the guys that, the people that need help, that sometimes they don't necessarily get the help that they need. So we're always there to try and help the little guy as well. So yeah.
Now, I've seen you have a Facebook market, the Greater Springfield area. Your name's always out there with politicians and all the rest of it.
Yeah, we try to, mate. We try to.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So your best phone number to get you, Mark, or is to get you on?
My best number to get me on as a mobile is 0423 021 253.
Okay, I'll put that in the graphics once I edit the video.
Fantastic.
All right, Mark.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate your time, man.
I'll catch you next month for the next financial update.
No worries.
Guys, don't forget to like.
Cheers, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Bye, mate.
No worries, buddy. Cheers.
All right. See you, Mark. I'll just turn this thing off. All right.
See you, buddy. No worries. See you, buddy. Bye.
See you, bud.